Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Tony here with Italian Dual Citizenship Assistance. And today's video is part 3 of my exclusive interview with one of Italy's top citizenship attorneys, Arturo Grasso. Now, we titled this episode, "The Italian Government Doesn't Want You to See This Interview," because the insights shared here are exactly what many people aren't being told, especially those who feel like they've hit a dead end with the new citizenship law. Now, in this final segment, we're going to tackle the big question: can you still fight back legally if you've been denied Italian citizenship? We'll talk about how to challenge the new law in the courts, 1948 cases, and the future of the minor issue. Now, many people have seen the new law approved and feel lost or ready to give up. But as Mr. Grasso said in part 2, this is a war. And if you've been deprived of your fundamental right to Italian citizenship, that fight might not be over. And now, if you haven't seen parts 1 and 2 yet, I highly recommend going back and watching those. Those links are in the description and in the pinned comments. And also keep in mind, as you'll hear him say in this interview, attorneys like Mr. Grasso are flooded with requests these days. They simply can't take the time to start every case from scratch, which is why I offer affordable consultations to help you figure out what kind of case you may have, whether it's a 1948 case, you have the minor issue, or simply a challenge to the new law, or if you have an administrative case and go through the consulates or comuni. Now, you can book a 20, 30, or 60-minute consultation with me at italiandual.com. The link is in the description and in the pinned comments. Now, let's get into it, and here's part 3 of my conversation with Arturo Grasso. In my business over the last few years, I've been guiding people through this process. And especially after October, at least half of the clients that have come to me for guidance to understand, do they qualify? What are my next steps? They have had 1948 cases. Based on what we're talking about, it sounds like 1948 cases, they may change, there may be less of them. But if we do what we talked about earlier and not respect this new law so much, if we assume that they can't retroactively strip it, there are lots of people that could have 1948 cases. So is the 1948 case a good vehicle to get someone into court and then to further challenge the parameters of the new law? Or would it be just as effective to just simply file a case challenging the new law? Or does it even matter how they enter the court system and challenge the new law?
Well, the reason to go to court is because you're denied by the administration, by the consulate or the comune, or you have no possibility at all to enter anything because, again, people living in the U.S. they should go to the consulate, but the consulate are totally shut down right now. They most probably they concentrate in processing whatever application they've already received so far, and they have a backlog. So most probably they happy with this, what's going on, and in reality they do not know which way to go. But so that right now we go to court, whether it's a 1948 case or it's a mayor case, just because we need to challenge and say we've been deprived, that we need to we won't get our citizenship because the way we've been deprived is not constitutional. It's against the Italian constitution and against European law, but mainly Italian constitution. I expect people that have a 1948 case because they had a minor issue, because lots of them converted in that one. But today, both way would work. However, when we then get, because let's say the Constitutional Court says, yes, the decree law doesn't, it's really, it's a mess and we're going to cancel piece of it. And you go back to the previous law, then when we get back, we still have the minor issue if it has not been solved yet by the Cassazione. But the minor case looks like it's going to be, challenged and reverted to not being an issue. But we have not a decision yet by the Cassazione, the highest court, civil court of Italy. Should come soon because the case had been heard, the first one in April. 3 cases have been heard on April 1st. I was there, were not my cases. Actually, my cases were heard in January 10, but the court luckily did make a decision and said send another decision back to us rather than decide the case. They said, we want to hear your case in a public hearing. Has not been heard yet, but three cases have been heard in April 1st. Another two were heard at the end of May, but no decision yet. Really looks like they're going to change it. So what's the perspective? We file a case to court. Case is going to be heard late 2026, 2027. By the time the cases will be heard, I think the Cassazione has already, of course, already ruled and have a more consistent approach. The Constitutional Court has already ruled, and the case will be decided if the Constitutional Court says that the new provisions are not constitutional, do not comply with the Constitution. So we will go back to the past legal framework with the past president. And in addition, whatever would be at the time, the president from the Constitutional Court on minor case. So if someone does not have any other option than the minor case, they may file and take the option that the change in law in the Constitution in the Cassazione. But if they have an option, minor case or 1948 case, I would still recommend the 1948 case.
So basically, it sounds like you welcome anybody who's blocked by one element or another of the laws as they've changed over the last year between the minor issue circolare, which is not a law change, it's a interpretation change, but you would invite those blocked by the minor issue, those with 1948 cases, as well as those that are simply blocked by elements of Law 74 such as the three generational limit.
They've been deprived. They were Italian and they have been deprived. Second and third and whatever generation they want to put, it's fine for the future perhaps, but not for those one who were already born by that date.
Right, right. So anybody who's blocked by this new law and its very confusing new eligibility requirements, you would encourage them all to come forward and take a look at their legal options moving forward. Great.
Yeah.
Well, I
Luckily,
really
we're not coming forward for with and putting on stake our life. It's commitment, yeah, some money too, but not life at stake. But it's a fundamental right. I believe that whoever believes they feel it, be Italian, and they believe that they're born Italian and their family was Italian to come forward. Yes.
there are so many people out there that are stuck trying to figure out how to move forward. I've seen many people just very, very upset, very confused. It's hard for people, especially those that have been working at it for a while. So, the ability to connect with someone like yourself to pursue the legal options. And like I said, I've been helping people understand what sort of case they have. Do they have a consular case? Do they have a case that requires them to go to court? And now, extra challenges with helping people navigate all of the complex law changes and then referring those on to great attorneys like yourself is the main thing that I do in my practice and definitely intend to keep going. So I look forward to having a great, continued partnership with you and my lawyer in
Thank
Italy,
you.
and your
Yeah,
team
yeah,
has been
very
wonderful.
appreciate. Well, your job is very important because lots of clients they reach us, hundreds, and we're not able to deal with everyone because it's really complex to give a response just to everyone with some are very at the beginning
Yes.
and it's too far away. It's not one shot. It's a continuous correspondence, and
Yes.
saying you have this. What about this? And especially in this time, is even more complex with all these avenues and these changes and possibility that you have to take into consideration. Which I can see the job and your job has become very important on one end, but very complicated on the other one. And
Indeed.
yeah.
Yes. And that's
So
exactly
thank you. That's
where
a very good commitment that you have helping people, which is important, very important.
I really appreciate the conversation. And yes, exactly what you described is where I've positioned myself. I do these initial consultations where I can help people understand how, because so many people come in and they don't know what they don't know. They don't understand how it works. So I help people get clarity on what this process is about, how it works, and what their next steps would be. And then, of course, if they have legal issues, 1948 cases challenging the new law, all of those things, then I make a referral to an attorney, but I help them understand things enough so that they're not burdening you with starting from scratch. And hopefully, I'm handing over clients to you that actually where I'm helping them. I have been with 1948 cases, gathering documents and having their application as ready to go as possible so that you can then focus on filing
Correct.
cases and moving forward. So that's been
Because we are
our
in the best
partnership.
position to help people who are already advanced. They know where they are. They know they have information about their case or documentation. Otherwise, it's hard to help people
Absolutely.
from really bad. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So thank
Well, I
you.
look
Yeah, that's
forward
really
to,
helps us
yes,
too.
I look
Yeah.
forward to our continued partnership and helping as many people as possible navigate this process successfully and achieve their dream and their goal of Italian citizenship. So great speaking with you today, Arturo.
My
Very
pleasure,
honored
Tony.
honored to have your expertise, and it's been really great. So thank you to you and your whole
Grazie.
team for putting this together. Grazie
All
mille.
right, grazie.
Buona
Ciao, a presto. Ciao,
giornata.
ciao.
Ciao.
Grazie anche a te. Ciao, ciao Tony.
Thanks so much for watching this final part of my exclusive interview with attorney Arturo Grasso. We titled this video, "The Italian Government Doesn't Want You to See This Interview," because so many people have been quietly shut out of the system. They're being told they no longer qualify, there's no hope, and many are ready to give up. But as you heard directly from Mr. Grasso, that isn't the end of the story. There are legal arguments to be made, especially through 1948 cases, challenges to the minor issue, and constitutional challenges against the new law. Yes, the path forward is complex, and yes, it will take time and legal effort. But as Mr. Grasso said in part two of this interview, this is a war. And if you've been deprived of citizenship that should have been yours from birth, then you still have options. And as you heard him emphasize in the interview, top Italian attorneys like Mr. Grasso are being inundated with new client requests, and they want to work and have to work only with people who are prepared, who understand their case, who've gathered the key documents, and who know where they stand. And that's where I can come in to help. I offer this service for anyone who's interested in pursuing Italian citizenship by descent with affordable 20, 30, and 60-minute consultations where I can help you map out your case, get clear on your next steps and your best path forward so that you're ready to work with a top Italian attorney like Mr. Grasso if your case requires that. Now, again, some people will be able to apply directly through the consulates in Comune, but for those who are blocked right now by the new law, the courts may be the best option for you. You can book your affordable 20, 30, or 60-minute consultation on my website at italianduel.com. The link is in the description and is a pinned comment. And if this video helped you, please like, subscribe, and share it with others who may be discouraged or confused. The more people who know their rights, who challenge this new law, the stronger we all are together. Now, thanks again, and remember, this fight isn't over, and I'll see you in the next video.